Alright guys, welcome back to another Warframe video. In the last video we were doing a little further Dante testing for Steel Path, and yeah, after using him a bit more, I definitely feel confident saying that he is my third that I can have in my Steel Path rotation. Today we are jumping into something different, and that is going to be another first impression, and you can probably tell that's going to be Hildryn. Now the date I am recording this is Friday, August the 9th, but the week prior, Hildryn was in the Duviri Cirucuit rotation. Also coincided with the Thermia Fractures event being up, because you had to grind the Exploder Orb to get the parts for Hildryn, but I got them all really no problem. And Hildryn I've read about a little bit, and it sounds like a very interesting kit. So this is another one I also think might have high potential for Steel Path. They function quite a bit different than all of the other frames I have in my arsenal. So what I want to do before we jump right into Hildryn, I have been very, very busy in the background. You may already be able to guess what that is: crafting. Did quite a lot of grinding on relics. Luckily, I was working on some upgrades for, which you'll see the final Garuda part I needed. I could craft the fist. I had been running bounties over in Fortuna, so I had a ton of Aya, which was really quite a blessing because it took quite a lot of grinding to pull all the parts I needed for the Glaive Prime. I thought I had them all, then realized it took two parts of one of the three that you needed. Might have been the blade. I don't remember exactly which part, but I did finally just finish within the last hour grinding and popping all of the Glaive Primes. While I was also running that, I also got all of the parts I needed to craft a Burstin Prime. So I've got the final Garuda part that I needed crafting in the background. Then we'll get Garuda going, which is the frame that I wanted from the very beginning. Just the first one I read about said, yeah, that sounded awesome. I have used Garuda a few times in the circuit. They feel really fun to use, though. Kind of like Dante, I'm not 100% certain that I was using them to their full potential because I didn't read about their kit. But nonetheless, I am going to get them going shortly, and I had last neatest part that I needed crafting as well. So I've got a few things going in the background. So with that said, we're going to jump over here. I already did my customization, kept it reasonably close to the color scheme they had, but I took the green off and swapped it for gold and white. Made a slightly more intense purple shade and a slightly more intense blue shade for the opposite. But I rather liked the color scheme that Hildryn had out of the gate. So let's just jump in. You know, the first thing I noticed out of the gate is that their abilities don't use energy. It seems to be like the quintessential shield gating frame, and you get a really good sense of what they're about just looking at their stats. So we don't have to concern ourselves with the energy economy. It's all going to be focused on shields. So obviously redirection is going to be, you know, the best bet. Shields, shields, shields. I obviously augur a cord that could further increase it, so I figured we may as well throw that on there. And then I've got even more, like Boreal's Hatred. I could obviously get on there once we start getting her ranked up a bit. There's a few others in here, but first thing first, let's grab our aura mod that matches. Okay, what do we have? Energy Siphon. No, that's a waste for her. They lose armor. What else could I use? I guess that's really it. Don't really need any of that. I guess, I mean, squad receives energy regen per second. That would, I guess, be useful for the squad, but it's nothing that I need really per se. So I guess what I'll do, I'll take this corrosive projection. Since that matches, and we'll bump this one up. Will be the first time I've ever used this aura mod. And what does that end up with? takes off how much of their armor? 18%? Okay, I mean, that's not bad. So that gives us another 20 points in the till. So I'm thinking, I mean, ability strength, I guess that could be useful, but I feel like Boreal's Hatred would be, I mean, efficiency, maybe that will cost lower shield on the cast. Let's just see what that does if I hover over. That's exactly what it does. It'll take less strain on the shields. Okay, that's perfect. That's fine. What is this? Restore. Oh, this is a Hildryn specific. Okay. So, yeah, let's get this one on. I don't know where I picked this mod up, but evidently I do have at least one of the specific mods for Hildryn. So, Pillage Augment, Blazing Pillage, Aegis Storm, Pillage. So that's the two. Blazing Pillage. Damage, got it. Okay, so enemies affected by Haven will be set ablaze for 200 heat and restore 50 additional shields. Interesting. Pillage Augment. Enemies affected by Haven will be set ablaze. So, what is this? You cast 3, then you cast 2. I don't know. I'll figure it out when we get in there. And I think that's the only Hildryn specific mod that I have up to this point. Nope. There's one more. Balefire. That's the final tier augment. Is that right? Haven, Aegis Storm, Pillage. Nope. Balefire is 1. Charge and launch devastating bolts of fire. Fully charged direct hits restore 100 shields. Impacts with nullifier shields will destroy and restore 300. Okay, wow. So, yeah, Hildryn does have some pretty interesting stuff in her kit here. Those mods will probably make it a bit more interesting yet. I think this is probably a decent place to start. Now, for Hildryn, I can't even begin to guess yet which arcane mod makes the most sense. I mean, Arcane Aegis may not be bad since she's so focused on shields. I know it's only an unranked tier that I have, but I feel like that at least plays into her strengths. Yeah, I think I'm going to go with Molt Augmented for the second. So that's going to be our starting setup for Hildryn. I'm going to leave everything else on here the exact same. I see Balefire Charger. Let's see. So that's, I think, the 4 ability. So Hornet Strike, obviously. That will bump our base damage. Is there anything else we can do on here? Augur Pact, yep. Energy Spin on shields. Yeah, see, that's kind of a waste. However, it is just another raw damage bump. So I'm going to throw it on there anyway. It's not high crit. It's not super high status either. Pistol Pestilence is probably not the worst thing that I could possibly do. Add a little corrosive. Yeah, that'll be good for Grenier. That's exactly what I was thinking. Okay, so, you know, obviously it's not really set up for status or for crit, but I could at least get it with, you know, a little bit better chance to proc a status effect. Since there's so many mods possibilities in here, so that's where we're going to leave the Balefire Charger for right now. Everything else we're going to leave the same. So that's it, guys. Relatively quick jump in. But what I do want to do, as ever, I am just going to take a quick minute. I'm going to read through these one more time. So yeah, I mean, doesn't sound like that complicated of a kit. You just kind of need to keep your eye on it and just monitor it. So yeah, we're just gonna, as ever, jump in to the old Syndicate. We'll do some normal Sanctuary Onslaught here. Just going to focus on getting some ranks and seeing how Hildryn feels to use.
Move and strike. We have to win this.
Somebody summons over there. Ah, okay. Yeah, I get it. Alright, yep, that definitely pulls some shields back. So, relatively straightforward, just mind your, mind your shield consumption from your charges. Yeah, I mean, her shield is so heavy, it's really not that big of a deal. At least so far it doesn't seem to be. Yep, that's nice. So that was kind of a long charge on that one.
Enter the conduit now.
Okay, I'll enter the conduit since you asked so nicely.
That was a close one.
See, I can see range being important on this. Okay. She seems pretty interesting so far. But it's pretty quick and straightforward for shields to come back up. Doesn't take that much effort. Somebody's got so many summons in there. It's hard to tell who's an enemy and who's not. So let's just jump in here and see what else we could throw on. I mean, I guess we could say Expel Grenier. That's as good a place to go as any. Since I added a few more points there. Hildryn, I don't think I'm going to have but a couple. Yep, so that's still the same. But we've got her up to a 12. So let's just jump back in one more time. Alright, so we do have 4 available. Not entirely certain how this functions. If I'm damaging them, or yeah, I guess a little bit, and it holds them in place. Okay, I kind of see how this works. Yeah, this is kind of an interesting 4 ability. Interesting, Hildryn. Interesting. Doesn't do a boatload of damage. Obviously, I can't jump down there. But it does do a great job of holding enemies in place. So, crowd control potential, pretty high. Very interesting kit is my first kind of thoughts on it. Would be a little easier to tell outside of Sanctuary Onslaught, honestly. Yeah, I definitely feel like anything that will increase range would probably work pretty well with Hildryn. It is an interesting kit. Yep, and Jade Light ate up all my shields. So I've got some invulnerability here for just a bit. Look how relatively quickly the shields go up there, though. You know, she may not be putting out the highest damage, but I can already see on the surface for survivability in harder content, her being very, very good at that.
Data conduit is open. Go now.
Yeah, I'm actually kind of surprised how relatively little energy it uses for her frankly.
Each data conduit jump, the experiment's design dictates increased efficiency. I trust you will be able to complete this study, Hunter?
But of course. I'm not sure if I'm guessing, obviously, that I have at some point, but that I've actually paid that much attention to and been like, oh, that's Hildryn. I mean, I'm sure that I've played with a Hildryn player before at some point. Yeah, look how effective this 4 is. I am a fan of that one. Yeah. So you get a nice little cluster like this and then just drop and boom, and it does a little additional damage on them as you land. So pretty cool. Infested, of course, have no shield, so to speak, so...
A new data conduit is open. Our experiment moves to a new zone. Hunter,
yeah, I mean, just no problem surviving at all.
Than any specimen in my sanctuary.
I stand by, not flashy, but really good at staying on her feet. Like, really, really good at staying on her feet. Plays, you know, obviously a bit differently than, say, a Rhino or a Zephyr that's also quite good at the same thing, but for different reasons. She's just kind of a different, you know, kind of shtick. So let's run in and see if we have any more usable or useful points in here.
Excellent armaments, operator.
Children.
Please return.
Okay,
Covered in
we
blood.
go. Fast deflection for 7 would probably be useful on her. That'll get it back quicker. I also think, you know, anything that could also increase the strength of her kit a little bit. would also be useful. So not necessarily duration. Intensify would be a good one to get on here. I think. And definitely, I think stretch as well. So, you know, with the potato, I could easily finish filling her out kind of where I would want to put her. Or just pick one or the other and not worry about, you know, having everything fully maxed out. Which that's probably what I would do, would be a stretch plus an intensify. Those would be the two that I'm thinking.
Operator.
Or
sorry.
a transient fortitude and an intensify, so we could get plus 60% strength with those two. And then also get her other one that I have for her. I forget the name of it. Balefire Surge. Okay. So yeah, she's an interesting frame. I'll say that. Not super duper flashy at all, in my opinion, but very adept at staying on her feet. So I'm going to run in for one more final push here, see if we can get her maxed. And I am considering throwing some potatoes on here because I think she could be a viable steel path frame, but I'd like to get her ranked up fully first. All right, guys, just a quick run there. I hit max rank. So we're going to come back over here. Whoops. Grab a Hildryn. First thing I'm going to do, we're going to go to actions. We're going to throw a potato in there. Yes, I do. That's going to give me all the points that I want to get the finished setup. Stretch. That will, oh yeah, much bigger radius on that, much bigger radius on that. And that doesn't apply. So stretch, I think, yes, is going to be useful. I am still leaning towards an intensify here. And let's see what that does. Yeah, that does do a nice damage boost pretty much across the board. Yeah, that's not bad at all. So the last one that I want to do, I think, is going to be her other specific, Hildryn specific mod. I forget the name of it. It's down here somewhere. What is it called? I know it's gold. I'll have the two little lines next to it. Balefire Surge. Fully charged direct hits. Restore 100 shield. Impact with nullifier. Destroy. Restore 300 shield. And that's for Balefire. Yeah, that's the first one. You know, honestly, that is a pretty good return, but honestly, because this costs nothing and you get so much shield back when you pull two, I think instead of throwing that one on, I'm going to throw on another corrupted mod.
Get off the emergency frequency.
Transient fortitude. We'll take duration down a tick and add a bit more strength. Yep. What about on that? Yep. Yeah, that's a nice little bump. I think that's kind of the compromise where I want to settle here. So that's going to be my Hildryn build, at least for now. I may come back and make some tweaks, but we're going to jump in. Leave it on public for now because I don't remember what the next batch that I had to go was, but I know we're on Venus, so let's see what the next... We have excavation, spy, rescue, or defense. Or we could do Mercury Junction. You know what? Let's start with the Mercury Junction. Let's just get that done. Let me hit Y. I think what I want to do is solo. That's going to give me my best test of Hildryn for Steel Path. We'll get the junction done, and then maybe I'll go grab the rescue rescue mission. Should be pretty straightforward. Or I could do one of the excavators, where it's just surviving. We'll skip the cinematic. No clue who we're running into here. Rhino? Okay. Oh, that doesn't matter, actually. Got Rhino. Tried to Rhino charge me. No problem staying on her feet there. Feel a little guilty taking down my main man Rhino. Okay. Yep, we knew we got that done. Elimination, exterminate. Yeah, I don't want to quite run over to Mercury yet. I'd like to wrap up Venus first. So, yeah, I think let's go with Linea. We'll see how she does in a rescue for staying on her feet.
Enemies have grown fierce. Use all that you have learned.
Keep moving. None of the scanners have detected you. You can't leave without rescuing the prisoner. Keep searching.
Yeah. Ooh, Gaijin on the ground. No, you don't. Yeah, I know. You're always getting mad at the cameras. Far, Hildryn having no problem staying on her feet. So far, so good.
The alarms have triggered a bursa.
Okay.
You are approaching the holding area. Careful. If the wardens detect you, they will surely initiate the execution sequence. The bypass is done. Go.
I think I can come through here. Maybe I can come up a little more safely from up here.
This is the jail. Our hostage is in one of these cells.
Okay.
I'm in your debt,
Yep,
Tenno.
perfect.
Let's go home.
Okay.
You've located the
And-
hostage. Escort the prisoner to the extraction point, and I'll take care of the rest.
We popped in from here. Okay, so far so good. I think I came
Give
in
me a
from
weapon
this
and I'll
side.
watch your back.
Not that I think it actually matters which side I choose to use, but it should teleport down to me, I think. No problem. Quick, easy in and out on that one. Right, that wasn't the best test. It went a little too smoothly. You know, I was watching Hildryn. She lost a few thousand shield in the middle there. A couple quick casts of her 2, and immediately right back. So no problem. I decided that the 3 probably has a little bit too much drain on it to be that useful in Steel Path. So I'm just going to keep my eye on her shields and have 2 at the ready when I need to pull 2. I think is how I'm going to approach it. What did that open up? A sabotage? Sabotage would not be a bad little test. We'll do one more. We'll finish off with Ishtar. If I can make it through to do all the little things in a sabotage I need, and exterminate or, you know, anything like that would also be a pretty good test. So far, she's feeling
worthy foes.
quite good at
Underestimate
this.
them at your peril.
The reactor is a complex system. Start by removing the coolant cells. My intel suggests there are rich enemy supply caches in the area, but I am unable to pinpoint their exact location. Search them out if you are willing to shoulder the added risk.
Even the little MOAs are, you know, not to be taken lightly. Nothing really should be taken lightly on Steel Path, it seems. Ospreys can be annoying in normal circumstances, let alone in Steel Path circumstances. Okay.
The reactor is going into stasis.
Yep.
Now is your chance to complete this sabotage. Use whatever you can to make sure it never works again. Coolant cell extracted.
Okay. Pop that in there.
Fuel cell reinserted. When the reactor is restarted, this will trigger a meltdown.
all these mowers in here? Oh, I didn't intend to, cast Fellark's into
your
Incarnate.
sacred tokens shall remain secure from the grasp of the idol.
Destroy the fuel injectors.
Oh, you're going down. Stop. You're going down. There we go. Beautiful. No problem there. Nice job staying on your feet, Hildryn.
The reactor has gone critical.
Perfect.
Get to extraction immediately.
Okay.
Beware, Tenno. This ship is experiencing reduced gravity and magnetic anomalies.
Yeah, I gathered that. Yeah, Hildryn's just really good at hanging out and taking through the damage thrown her way, it seems. Just keep an eye on the shields. Recoup when you need to, but it's super easy and effective. It arguably works better, you know, the bigger group of enemies that you have.
I follow Parvos to freedom.
Yeah, that
And
worked
so
out
we
beautifully.
learn the importance of clarity and purpose.
So yeah, guys, probably want to run through a few different types of missions with Hildryn to have my final verdict. But from what I just experienced there, I feel pretty comfortable saying that yes, Hildryn is going to be another one that I can have in the stable for getting through Steel Path. She's just supremely tanky. You know, focus on her as a weapons platform and, you know, just shield back up when you need to. No big deal. I mean, I didn't really feel in any real imminent threat at all during any of that play. And, you know, I stand by. I've said the same thing about a few other frames. She certainly may not be the flashiest. I mean, okay, visually she looks really cool. Hildryn thick. I wouldn't mess with Hildryn. But, you know, her kit may not be the super flashiest kit. But, yeah, it absolutely functions exactly as I was hoping that it would.
Are you enjoying
So yeah, guys, that was a fun first test. My first impression of Hildryn is largely positive. You know, just think of her as a good base for whatever weapon setup you want and just let her inherent survivability do the talking. Worked quite well. I'll be curious to see if I maintain that position as I progress through Steel Path and it keeps getting progressively harder and harder and harder. But I feel reasonably comfortable saying I'm up to 4 now in the stables that I know I can pull out and make it through comfortably without too much worry. So yeah, that was another fun first impression, guys. Obviously, I have a big old pile of frames to get through. I'm still going to keep going back to some older frames. The next older frame that I've used that I intend to test out for Steel Path is going to be Ember. While Ember Prime is up, I don't have a lot of parts. I think I just have the one that I randomly pulled while I was going for the Glaive Prime. Let me double check that. I think that's correct. Equinox, Ember Prime. Yeah, just the chassis. So still need the neuroptics and still need the systems and I need the blueprint itself. So it took quite a lot of grinding to get that glaive. So I'm probably going to have to go back and do a little more Aya farming again as well and refill some void traces. Yeah, my goal is to try to snag Ember Prime while Ember Prime is up. And yeah, that was a fun test. I like Hildryn. I like Hildryn. She is a frame that suits my preferred play style, which is that the best offense is a good defense, which is, why I gravitated to the frames that I did almost from the very beginning. So yeah, I liked Hildryn. My first impression, very, very positive. I'll continue pulling her out in the rotation as we make our way around the steel path. But for a first test, I liked what I experienced. Guys, that is going to do it for today's video. As always, I do sincerely appreciate you checking in, and we will catch you on the next one.